Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. In today's video, I thought to myself to go through the Paris Saint-Germain defeat in the Champions League Final versus Bayern Munchen. It was obviously a huge accomplishment for Paris Saint-Germain. Before reaching that final, we reached our first semi-final since the 90s. Beat Leipzig with ease and went into that final. I remember I was watching the game with my friends at my house. Big TV, big screen, a lot of pressure, but there was still not that much pressure because we hadn't been here before. It was like this new step. We're like, what are we supposed to do here? And yeah, obviously it was a big game. It was a big game. PSG and Bayern were the two best sides in Europe that season. Maybe say Bayern were better than us. How convincingly they went to that final compared to Paris Saint-Germain. Even though we also looked very great. And it was a very, very intense game. It was a very intense game. Not that many big chances for any of the opposition. It was like a strict final. Both teams didn't want to lose. Both teams wanted to win. PSG, I mean, we basically created a little bit more. Obviously with that big Mbappe chance. I mean, Neymar had a good chance. Marquinhos had a good chance. Choupo-Moting towards the end had a good chance. PSG should have potentially gotten a penalty. Kimmich fouling Kylian Mbappe. But all of that didn't matter when Kingsley Coman, former Paris Saint-Germain player from our academy as well, scored that header. And it was game over. It was game over. It's very unfortunate that we didn't win the UCL in our first try in the Champions League final. And, you know, Coman scoring that goal against you, Bayern Munchen beating you in that final. Every time I see that picture of the Bayern players holding the UCL trophy that season, I was like, that should have been ours. That was ours. That was Neymar's. That was Mbappe's. That was Tuchel's. That was Thiago Silva's. That was Verratti's. That was Marquinhos. That was Kimpembe's. That was Bernat's. That was Paredes. That was Thilo Kehrer, not Cavani, and not Munir's. It was just meant to be. It was meant to be. What we did versus Atalanta, how we smacked Leipzig, the comeback versus Dortmund. We had to win it. We had to win it. And ever since then, PSG have not reached that level. I mean, we haven't reached the final ever since then. When we reached that final, I thought okay, now PSG will consistently be reaching semis and finals. I will reach the semi straight after, but it just wasn't the same. And there's so many ifs in this thing. Imagine if Tuchel won the UCL with Paris Saint-Germain. Never gotten sacked, would have gotten backed more, maybe a much bigger project around him. He wouldn't have gone to Chelsea, won a UCL. Then you have Neymar Jr. If he won the UCL here, his move from Barca to Paris Saint-Germain would be seen as a success by everyone. Because what basically Neymar did is he had a very high likelihood of, consistently performing in the UCL with FC Barcelona and competing for the Champions League. But he took the risk to go to PSG, a team that they just beat 6-1, making a huge comeback over. And PSG, a club that has never won the UCL. So if he actually made that huge transfer move, went to Paris Saint-Germain and won the UCL in the third season as the main man, because he carried us offensively into that final, that would have changed so much about the talking part about Neymar. Obviously, there was no Ballon d'Or. No Ballon d'Or for Leva that year. But if we won it, it would have probably gone to Neymar. Nah, it would have gone to Neymar. But it's so unfortunate. Kylian Mbappe, another big if. Imagine, he has everything he's done in the World Cup. Add on top of that a UCL. Obviously, Mbappe wasn't impactful because he was injured and everything. But that UCL still would have been on his CV. And if anyone would have scored, it would have been either him or Neymar in the final. There's so many ifs. There's so many scenarios. What would have happened if we won the UCL that season? What would have happened? Because me as a PSG fan, one vibe there's always here at PSG is, we're going to win the UCL this year. This is the year. We're going to win the UCL. We're going to win our first UCL. It's always about winning that UCL. So I don't even know how the feeling is going to be when we actually win it. What happens later? What happens later? But yeah, I can only look back positively on the entire Champions League run. Obviously, we lost in the final. It's devastating. It's very heartbreaking. But I was very proud of my players. I was very proud of my team. I was proud of Nasser. I was proud of Tuchel. I was proud of everyone who took part in that journey onto the final. And yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts about the game. Let me know in the comments down below, Bayern, PSG fans, non-PSG Bayern fans. What are your thoughts about the Champions League final between Paris Saint-Germain and Bayern Munchen? That's been it from my boy PSG. Hopefully, guys, you enjoyed this video. And as usual, allez, Paris.